What's good, everybody? It's your boy Eddie here, and welcome back to the channel. And I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. And for today's video, we're going to be reviewing some limited edition sneakers, and is another colorway to a sneaker that I reviewed last week. And there hasn't been any type of sneakers dropped, no info or updates from Nike at all. So these might actually be a CPFM exclusive. I can be wrong on that, and things may change, but as of right now, everything is radio silent. So before we continue the video, guys, please make sure that you smash that subscribe button down below, as well as hit that notification bell. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, guys, definitely be sure to share with your friends and your family and all that, because again, in order for this channel to continue to grow and to continue to hit more milestones, I need y'all help. So now with the formalities being out of the way, let's just get right into what you came here for, which is none other than the Nike and CPFM Swamp Sponge Dunk in the Sequoia colorway. And guys, definitely based off of first impressions, this is absolutely a cop for me. Obviously, I have them in hand, so that also helps as well. But I really like that on this sneaker right here. It does give a very black vibe to it. However, once you get it in hand, you can see that this is kind of like a army green or like a forest green. So I definitely wanted to let y'all know that it's like a dark green with some black hits to it, or a black with some dark green hints to it. It's very interesting when you get it in hand. And also, which is standard to this collaboration, is that both pairs look completely different from one another. So as you can see, just on the toe box itself, there are a lot of different details when you look at the holes. So on the left hand side, which is this one, you have smaller holes, and then on the right hand side you do have bigger holes in the toe box, and then you do see that kind of sponge detail right underneath that toe box area. And again, when putting these on as well, guys, super comfortable, definitely way more comfortable than a standard dunk. The insoles are the same exact flimsy insoles that I showed you guys last week, so it definitely has to be that sponge material that's on the sneaker. On focusing onto the inspiration behind the shoe, as I mentioned last week, these are 100% inspired by the 2019 Nike by You and CPFM Blazer Mid, but it is in a different colorway, and of course back then you can change the colors behind it, but the whole sponge details and everything like that is 100% inspired by that Blazer Mid. So I do love that they were able to bring something back from 6 years ago and put it onto the silhouette right here. And a lot of people are going crazy, especially for this pair, because in my opinion, and in a lot of other people's opinion, these are probably the most wearable. But again, guys, they aren't black. They are in this kind of like forest green colorway with some black hits to it. It's really interesting when you get it in hand. So now with that being out of the way, let's just get right into the box details. And pretty much it is the same exact box as I showed you guys last week. So it is this kind of steel locker looking box details, and it feels very similar to the Nigel Sylvester Grandma's driveway box, because it does have that textured feel to it, which is a very nice touch and definitely is reminiscent of a steel locker. And then when going onto this side of the box right here, you can see that it does say Cactus Plant Flea Market right there with that double font on it. Going on to this side of the box, you can see that it is a very simple detail right there. Then moving on to this side of the box, we do have that kind of steel locker hinges right here, which is a pretty nice touch. And when you open it again, it just reminds me of back in the day in high school or even in college, where you would have those steel lockers. So very nice touch and very reminiscent of the past. And then when going right under the box, we do have this nice detail right here. So we do have more hinges and details all over, but we also have rust on the box itself, which is also separately textured from the steel itself. So I do love that the rust and the steel does have two different textures on it. Then when going on to this side of the box, we do have the sticker tag right there, but we also have an embossed and debossed CPFM yin and yang logo right there, as well as that embossed and debossed Nike check logo right there. Then of course, as I mentioned, the sticker tag is right there, and it does read off as Nike CPFM Swamp Sponge Dunk, and the colorway shown is Sequoia, Sequoia, Sequoia. Then when it comes to the sizing of the sneaker, I 100% recommend to go with your standard true to size, or whatever your normal dunk sizing is. For me, that is the true to size, and when I put these sneakers on, they feel super comfortable. They don't fit loose, they don't fit tight at all. They just fit perfectly to the size of my foot. So I definitely enjoy true to size, and I recommend that you would do the same, unless you know your dunk sizing is to go a half size up or something like that. So now when opening the box lid here, you can see that we do have a standard white box, and then we do have this kind of water print on the wax tissue paper itself. And then at the top of it, we do have that same Cactus Plant Flea Market double logo detail right there, which is a pretty nice touch. And then you're also greeted with the sneakers next, but I'm gonna skip that for right now so that you can see this beautiful dust bag detail right here. To me, this is definitely the best CPFM dust bag that they have done for Nike. So it does say ask about the sponge. And when you actually flash your light on it, it does give a 3M flash to it, which makes the bag pop a lot. And I just love this kind of gray charcoal color, because it definitely makes it way more, I don't want to say wearable, but more usable in public. If you want to just put the sneakers in there and just put it on your back like that, Very wearable. It could go with pretty much any outfit in comparison to the yellow dust bag that we had previously. But overall, again, I think this is a very nice touch. I'm happy that CPFM was able to put a new spin on their dust bags. So now with that being out of the way, guys, let's just get right into the details of the sneaker. I'm not going to waste y'all time. So when looking at the whole entire upper of the sneaker, you can see that we do have some faux fur at the front of the toe box, some exposed foam detail, which is a play on the actual sponge title of the sneaker itself. And then we do have this kind of like carpet cotton material right here that you can see was like buzzed down pretty much, which is a pretty nice touch. And now let's just focus more in depth of the toe box. So as you can see right here, we do have this very soft plushy toe box right here with multiple perforated holes just to add some breathability to the sneaker. Then at the top of that toe box, you can see that we do have this exposed foam detail right here, which feels really nice to the touch, man. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely reminiscent of like the off-whites or any type of Nike sneaker that has had that exposed foam detail, but it really looks great on this sneaker. Then when focusing onto the mudguard of the sneaker, there is this faux fur right here, which is very reminiscent to the Grinch Fleet ones, and I do love how it looks on this side of the shoe. Then when moving upwards towards this sneaker right here, we do have the standard flat red laces right here. It does come with an extra pair of green flat laces. However, when you go onto the right side of the shoe pretty briefly, we do have this kind of rugged, thick lace right here, which looks really nice, and it's in a lighter Sequoia. It's more of a lighter green. And then right next to that, it does come with an extra pair of orange flat laces, which is a pretty nice touch. The only thing is that there's only one of each lace, so what if I wanted to have the same laces on both sides? You can't do that with this collaboration, unfortunately, so that's just something to keep in mind. And also something to note, guys, when you actually look at this toe box right here, this side of the toe box is actually made out of this canvas material, as opposed to the right side having the standard Nike Dunk kind of woven material right there. So that's just something else to note. Then at the top of the tongue tab, we do have this Sequoia Nike Air detail right here with the exposed foam right on top of that. So it's a very nice touch. And then when moving on to the lateral side of the sneaker, just look at that detail right there, man. So we do have this kind of rugged, cut down detail. I don't even know how to describe it in the quarter panel right here. And then there is this oversized furry Nike check right here, which is a pretty nice touch. Then when looking at this portion of the eyelet right here, it is actually not removable, but you can actually lace it without the eyelet detail. And I do think that this extra panel just adds a lot of variety to the sneaker itself. Then when moving on to the back heel area of the sneaker right here, there is more of that furry Nike Air back heel details right there, which is a pretty nice touch. And then finally, when going onto the medial side of the sneaker, the same thing pretty much follows with the lateral side, so there's nothing else to report on there. And I'm actually gonna go right into the outsole because the outsoles are very different for this specific collaboration. So on this midsole and outsole, we actually do have this kind of dark army green outsole right here, which is a pretty nice touch and just matches with that Sequoia detail. And of course, when we go into the outsole, we do have the standard Nike Dunk outsole detail right there with that Nike check in the middle of it. Now when focusing onto the right side of the shoe, since we just reviewed the left side, I'm only gonna focus on the details that are pretty much different. So what I didn't mention last time is that this mudguard area right here is actually the same thing as this mudguard on the left side of the shoe. The only thing is they gave the fur a buzz cut on the right side of the shoe, which is a pretty nice touch. So instead of having it furry like this, if you were to cut it down, it would definitely look exactly like this, which is a pretty nice touch. So that's something that you can do to kind of add some consistency to both sides of the shoe, but I don't think that makes sense in this particular situation because it's not as furry and OD as the Grinch Fleet ones were. And I think for this specific collaboration, the mismatching and all that stuff makes more sense to fit with the whole swamp sponge idea that this whole title and collaboration comes with. Then, as I mentioned earlier on the toe box, this is definitely what separates itself from the left side of the shoe. We do have bigger perforated holes, and then under that, you can see that yellow panel right under the perforated holes, which is to give more of that sponge vibe to the sneaker. I already talked about the tongue on this side of the sneaker, so let's just go right into the quarter panel. And when you look at the quarter panel, instead of having that kind of furry, rugged quarter panel, we do have this quilted quarter panel, which looks really, really nice on the sneaker itself. Then instead of having that kind of Sequoia green, we have more of this kind of light olive green furry detail right here on the oversized Nike check, which looks pretty nice. Then when going onto the back heel area of the shoe now, you can see that we do have that Nike back heel tab, but instead of it being a little bit more hairy, it looks like it was buzz cut more down to give that more cleaner look and be more consistent with this side of the sneaker. And then finally, when moving on to the medial side of the sneaker, the same thing pretty much follows with the lateral side, so there's nothing else to report on there. And now in focusing onto this outsole, you can see that it is in this kind of dark green colorway, very different from this kind of black Sequoia colorway, but they do kind of go hand in hand regardless. So it is a very small difference, and I just wanted to point that out. And then finally, when going on to that outsole, the same thing pretty much follows suit other than the colorway. So we do have the same Nike Dunk traction pattern with that Nike check right in the middle of the sneaker itself. And then before we conclude this review, guys, I'm just going to put up the insoles itself. So on that right side, you can see that it's more of that predominantly thermal blue colorway, which means it's more of like a colder foot. And on the left insole, you can see that it's more red, which kind of indicates that it's more of like a hotter foot. And I really do love that Weatherman thermal vision detail that CPFM has added onto pretty much all of their Nike collaborations, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just something that separates itself from other insoles. Again, the quality of the insole isn't that crazy in my personal opinion, but the sneaker is probably the most comfortable Nike Dunk that I've ever put on. Pretty much with that being said, guys, that's going to conclude the history as well as the details of the shoe. So now, let's get right into this on for a look, guys. All right, y'all, so that's going to conclude the reviews as well as the on for look, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it for y'all. Definitely let me know what you think about this Nike Dunk Swamp Sponge CPFM collaboration in the Sequoia colorway. Is it a cop or drop? I definitely want to hear y'all thoughts in the comment section down below. Other than that, y'all, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you're already subscribed to the channel, definitely be sure to share with your friends and your family and all that, because in order for this channel to continue to grow and to continue to hit more milestones, I need y'all help, and I can't do it without y'all. So I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.